This video is aimed at parents or carers who have a child in the older primary school years and want to know how best to support them with their reading. As your child reaches the last few years of primary school, they are most likely to be equipped with the skills to decode a range of text types. They appear to be independent in their reading. It is still really important though that children in the older years share reading with an adult regularly. Not only is this valuable one-to-one time with your child, but it allows opportunity for discussion and the understanding of a book at a much deeper level. This video will give many tips on questions for discussion when reading. It will be impossible to do all of these all of the time, so please pick and choose accordingly. As your child matures, they will develop their own interests. If your child has a certain interest, encourage them to choose certain books linked to this. Often this is a big motivator for regular reading. It might be a particular author, genre, or character they are interested in. Your child will have the opportunity to visit the school library and select their own reading books according to their interests. Your child might choose to swap and recommend personal books with their friends, or you might join a local library to widen the choice of books they can access. Whilst it is a great idea to express their interests through books, it is important that adults ensure children are exposed to a range of text types and don't become too narrow in their choice of books. Encourage a mixture of fiction, non-fiction, poetry, plays, online blogs or news articles. It is still a great idea to have fun with different voices for different characters. Play script books lend themselves to the whole family getting involved in the fun. You should encourage your child to make predictions as they read. You may choose to make predictions right at the beginning of the story just by looking at the front cover. You might choose to make predictions throughout or at the beginning of each chapter. It is a good idea to ask your child to justify why they made a certain prediction. As you read, encourage your child to take notice of the punctuation in the book. Praise your child for pausing on commas and full stops. Ask them to identify speech from certain characters. Look at higher level punctuation such as brackets, ellipses, exclamation marks, question marks, speech marks, and semicolons, and discuss why they have been used. Your child will come across lots of new vocabulary each time they read. It is important to discuss the meanings of words. You can look up unknown words together in a dictionary. You can think of synonyms and antonyms for words and look up suggestions in a thesaurus. In particular, you could discuss prefixes and suffixes such as re, anti and pre, and discuss how this changes the meaning of certain words. When reading, it is a good opportunity to identify certain writing styles or techniques. Children are taught about putting them in their own writing, so it is a good idea to see how different authors use them. You might ask why certain words are in capital letters or bold writing in your child's book. You might ask them to find examples of similes or metaphors. They could identify description or expanded noun phrases. Or you could generally talk about the length of the sentences the author uses and why they have used them. You could practice retrieval techniques with your child. Some examples of retrieval typed questions are asking your child to find the sentence that shows the main character is feeling happy, angry or sad. You could ask them to answer true or false questions. For example, the children were crying, true or false. You could also ask them to correctly order events in a story. A more difficult concept for children to grasp is inference, which basically means reading between the lines on a page. Any opportunity to practice this is welcomed. Inference type questions include asking your child to justify how they know a character is feeling miserable or a certain way. Ask them to identify the difference between facts and opinion, or discussing the message the author is trying to give. Finally, it is a good idea to ask your child to practice the skill of summarising. Summarising is giving the main points of a book without giving too much detail. You might ask your child to summarise at the end of each chapter. If you are reading a book in multiple stages, it is always a good idea to summarise what you have read before reading on. Or you could summarise at the end of a book and discuss whether a story has a lesson to be learnt or a hidden message. This video has given lots of tips on how to get the most out of your child's reading books. The most important part of reading is enjoyment though. If you have any further questions, please contact the school directly. Thank you.